Hey guys, welcome to my channel Saumya's Bookstation. I am Saumya. If you like my videos, please like and share them and subscribe to my channel. This is a monthly wrap-up video and I'm going to talk about the books that I read in the month of July. I read 8 or 9 books in the month of July, so let's get started. Patnik Sweetheart by Haruki Murakami. This is a story about a 22-year-old girl, Sumire, who is kind of an unusual person. She has a best friend called Kei, and one day she meets this stunning woman who's 17 years older to her. That woman is called Miu, and Sumire falls in love with this woman. And Kei is in love with Sumire, but he's not able to confess his feelings for her. Now this is a story where Sumire meets Miu, and Miu likes something about Sumire, and she wants Sumire to work for her as her employee. And on one of their business trips, Sumire disappears. I've got kind of mixed feelings for this book. When I began reading it, initially I was liking this book a lot, and as the story started progressing, I found the story to become like really confusing. I was not able to understand what's happening. Generally, my experience with my previous book that I read by Haruki Murakami, that was Norwegian Wood, has been that he leaves a lot of scope for interpretation. That kind of became a tedious job for me. Anya's Ghost by Vera Brosgol. This is a graphic novel about a teenage immigrant Russian girl, Anya, who lives with her mother and her younger brother in the United States, and she's not exactly happy with her life. She goes to a high school there and she has practically given up trying to be a part of that high school because she doesn't feel like she belongs there. She has insecurities about the way she looks, about the crowd she hangs out with. So basically she's a typical teenager. So one day, in one of her careless wanderings in a field, Anya comes across this ghost and they become friends, and that's how the story progresses. Then it becomes kind of spooky, a little bit, not a lot. I really loved how the illustrations were in this graphic novel. They were like really pretty illustrations. I really liked them. But as for the story, it was kind of predictable. Enjoyable in the beginning, amusing kind of, but not the best. Two Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. This is a sci-fi novella, and this is a story about a bounty hunter named Rick Deckard, whose task it is to retire or kill humanoid robots called androids. Now it is very difficult to differentiate between a human being and an android. The only difference is that androids lack empathy. So this is a story that I found initially to be kind of boring and confusing. I was not sure what is going on, and sci-fi is not really my favorite genre, but as the story started progressing, I really started enjoying how this book went on. Radioactive dust has settled on Earth and it has destroyed everything. Most of the human beings have migrated to other planets. A few of them have stayed back. Rick Deckard is one among them, and this is the kind of world this story has been set in, and there is a lot of philosophy going on in this story. It's kind of a heavy read, I would like to admit that. It is written so well that I really liked reading this book. The Ministry of Utmost Happiness by Arundhati Roy. This is the second fiction novel by Arundhati Roy after her first Booker Prize winning fiction novel, The God of Small Things. The gap between the two books has been 20 years, and so that's why this book was really awaited. And I also did a detailed review of this book on my channel. I leave the link in the description box if you would like to check it out. So this is a story in which a lot of things are taking place. There's the story of an Indian transgender named Anjum, and she lives in Old Delhi, so you kind of see the scenes in Old Delhi. Then there is the story of unrest in Kashmir. Then there is the story of an enigmatic woman named Estelotama. She has her own story and background. Arundhati Roy has kind of merged fiction and non-fiction in the story, which really brings the story very, very close to reality. I thought the story was written really well, but my favorite part in the story was pretty limited. I liked reading Anjum's story more than the rest of the story, and unfortunately Anjum's story was relatively less. So overall this book was kind of a little too political for my likings. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling, and this is the 7th book in the Harry Potter series. It made me cry, it made me hopeful. This book was especially emotional because it kind of brings the story to an end, although there's an 8th book, but then the main story has ended in this book. There were so many things happening in this book that just broke my heart, but there were so many good things happening too. I just really loved this book, and I'm kind of sad that I am done with the 7 books. Ghachar Gochar by Vivek Shanbhag, translated from Kannada by Srinath Perur. This is a story about a lower middle income family that goes on to become rich after this start a spices business called Sona Masala, and the story has been narrated by one of the family members, where he makes observations about how their attitudes changed towards life after they became rich. But despite all the changes, they still stick together as a family because they stuck together during tough times. So these people are not the most moral people, but then they have their own reasons to behave the way they do. This is one of the best books that I read this month. Maharani by Ruskin Bond. This is another one of the really good books that I read this month, and I'm so glad I read this book. It is a story about the Maharani of Mastipur. She is a spoiled woman. She's selfish. She's beautiful. She's not somebody one would like. People would like to please her because she's in a position where people would like to be in her good books, but apart from that, she's not a likable person. And the story has been narrated by Ruskin Bond in first person because he happens to be the friend of this Maharani. This book has been written so differently from other Ruskin Bond books because there is the part where nature has been described by him, but most of the story focuses on this decadent Maharani. I really enjoyed reading this book, and you should read this book too. Man-Eaters of Kumaon by Jim Corbett. This is a non-fiction and a collection of stories by Jim Corbett where he recounts his hunting experiences while hunting the man-eating tigers in the region of Kumaon in Uttarakhand. Now he had to hunt those tigers because those tigers were man-eaters, so they went about killing villagers, making their lives really difficult, and the villagers were getting victimized. I would like to make this really clear that this is not a book where cruelty towards animals is being celebrated or anything. There is a simplicity in the book, the way the landscapes have been described and the way Jim Corbett's experiences while communicating with the villagers have been described. They are really good to read. Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. Now this is a story about a Halloween party and a murder that gets committed in a Halloween party. This is a 13-year-old child who is murdered, and the story has Poirot and he goes about solving this murder. Now I had intended on finishing this book in a single sitting on the last day of the month, but I could just finish 2/3 of the book because something or the other kept coming up. Till the 2/3 part, I have been really enjoying this book. So guys, these are the books that I read in the month of July. You let me know in the comment section that which all books did you read in the month of July and how did you like them or not like them. My experience was pretty mixed. Some of the books I liked, some of them I didn't like that much. So that was it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back with my next video super soon. If you want to connect with me on my social media, then the links are in the description box. Bye!